A very good afternoon. You're watching the midday news on Rajya Sabha television. My name is Aishwarya and these are the headlines. Prime Minister assures a policy paralysis of the past won't hamper critical issue of defence preparedness now. Lauds the contribution of small and medium enterprise to the sector. Prime Minister launches scheme to set up defence innovation hubs throughout the country. Navigation satellite IRNSS-1I successfully placed in orbit by ISRO. Target to create country's own navigation system in line with America's GPS. Agency braces for busy year ahead with 9 missions lined up in the next 8 months. Leaders from cities across the globe resolved to achieve effective implementation of 3R policies for clean air, water and land. Rajya Sabha TV's special ground report Waste to Wealth screened at the 8th Regional 3R Forum that concludes in Indore today. Prime Minister leads BJP MPs in observing day-long fast to protest opposition-led disruptions in Parliament. Amit Shah holds a sit-in protest in Hubballi in poll-bound Karnataka. And Babita Kumari misses Commonwealth Games gold medal, settles for silver in 53 kg category. Tejaswini Sawant wins silver in women's 50-meter shooting. India's medal tally at 26. Our top story this afternoon, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that policy paralysis of the past regime will not hamper the critical issue of defence preparedness. Addressing the 10th Defence Expo in Tamil Nadu, the Prime Minister said that laziness, incompetence or perhaps hidden motives have cost the nation sorely in the past. Lauding the role of small and medium enterprises in defence production, the Prime Minister said that their contribution has increased by 200% in the last 4 years. The Prime Minister also announced the launch of the Innovation for Defence Excellence scheme. It will set up defence innovation hubs throughout the country to provide necessary incubation and infrastructure support to the startups in the sector. Over 500 Indian and over 150 foreign companies are participating in the 4-day event that is being held to showcase India as a defence exporter and as a manufacturing hub.
Procurement from micro and small enterprises by the defence public sector undertakings and ordnance factories has gone up from about rupees 3,300 crores in 2014-15 to over rupees 4,250 crores in 2016-17. This is an increase of close to 30% and 30% in 4 years. It is heartening to note that the contribution of small and medium-scale sector to defence production has grown by 200% in the last 4 years. Today, we have launched the Innovation for Defence Excellence scheme. It will set up defence innovation hubs throughout the country to provide necessary incubation and infrastructure support to the startups in defence area. Private venture capital into the defence sector, especially for startups, will also be encouraged. New and emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and robotics are perhaps the most important determinants of defensive and offensive capabilities for any defence force in the future. India, with its leadership in information technology domain, would strive to use this technology tilt to its advantage. There was a time when, like many other aspects of governance, the critical issue of defense preparedness was also hampered by policy paralysis. We have seen the damage such laziness, incompetence, or perhaps some hidden motives can cause to the nation. Not now, not anymore, never again. Issues that should have been long addressed by previous governments are being resolved now.
Are all showcased by many leading producers. But more importantly, because of the Make in India slogan, not only are we going to buy from the various manufacturers, but giving them a place also and an option also for them to produce in India. But even more happy augury is the fact that 50% of this export today has Indian manufacturers, and largely among them small and medium industries.
And Prime Minister Modi, along with the Defence Minister and other dignitaries, also toured the Defence Expo exhibition grounds. They also saw live demonstrations of equipments of the 3 armed forces wings. All right, let's get more details. Panchanan Mishra, our reporter, is there in Chennai. Let's get more information about the Defence Expo. Panchanan, we heard Prime Minister Narendra Modi there talking about really the transformation of the defence sector, basically a paradigm shift, because Indian Army has been, the largest exporter of defence equipment, and Prime Minister here is not only talking about India being a great manufacturing hub, but also an importer now.
Yeah, exactly. Aishwarya, Prime Minister Narendra Modi officially inaugurated this Defence Expo, which is going to be held in Chennai, and it's continue. And he categorically stated that India is now on the verge of becoming a defence exporter, in place of heavily dependent on importing the defence equipment. And he also noted the public sector companies and also the private sector companies, because in
Right, Panchanan. All right, Prime Minister Narendra Modi there kicked off the 10th edition of Defence Expo in Chennai, and that this expo is basically showcasing the country's ability in exporting defence system and components. So this is a 4-day long expo, and it is being held in the outskirts of Chennai. And Prime Minister Modi there, he admitted to the challenges really for the defence sector, saying that his government has basically increased FDI in the sector to 49% to promote Make in India for defence. He also spoke about defence innovation hubs throughout the country as well. Well, we'll get more details on this story. Panchanan Mishra, we got the line disconnected. Let's get you some other news now. ISRO has successfully placed in orbit its navigation satellite IRNSS-1I. Now, the launch was done early morning today from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota at 4:04 a.m. The satellite, that is a part of the NAVIC series, was injected into orbit by launch vehicle PSLV C-41. ISRO now will have a busy 8 months ahead, also with the 9 missions lined up, including the all-important Chandrayaan-2. Here's a report.
3, 2, 1, 0, +1.
Another feather in the cap for ISRO. The Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System 1I launched successfully from Sriharikota in the morning today. The successful launch coming within 2 weeks of the launch of GSAT-6A satellite.
I am extremely happy to announce 43rd PSLV mission, this PSLV C-41. Precisely injected the 8th navigation satellite of India in the NAVIC constellation, that is IRNSS 1I, precisely into the targeted orbit.
The IRNSS 1I, launched by PSLV C-41, was successfully placed in the designated orbit. This is the 43rd flight by the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, and the satellite is the 8th in the series to join the NAVIC on navigation with Indian constellation. PSLV injected the satellite into orbit 19 minutes after liftoff.
As per the data, the orbit achieved is 281.5 kilometers at perigee and 20,730 kilometers at apogee, against the specification of 284 kilometers, only 2.5 kilometers off from the perigee, where the dispersion allows up to 5 kilometers, and 70 kilometers in the apogee, where the dispersion allows up to 675 kilometers, thus once again proving the precise injection capability of the PSLV. This is the 43rd mission of the PSLV and 41st successful mission of the PSLV. And with this success, once again we have seen how precisely the PSLV is able to inject the satellite, and very reliably.
The purpose of the satellite is to create India's own navigation system, which would be quite similar to the US's GPS or Global Positioning System. ISRO says the IRNSS can provide accurate position information service to users in India as well as the region extending up to 1,500 kilometers from its boundary.
One is, in the launch vehicle, we have adopted a new technology, that is friction stir welding, that is really going to improve the productivity and also enhance the payload capability of the vehicle. In the satellite area, in fact, that the participation of industry is enhanced. We are slowly moving towards the both vehicle and satellite getting through industry. That is the one major achievements we had today. Now, this NAVIC constellation is really going to create history and going to make innovative applications to the entire community in the position-based services, especially for the underserved and unserved.
This is ISRO's 3rd launch this year, and there are many more on the anvil.
We have a lot more missions on the anvil. For the next 8 months, we are going to have 9 missions, this one. Very, very importantly, we are going to have the GSLV Mark III D2 flight with the GSAT-29 satellite. And we are going to have the GSAT-11, is another high-throughput satellite we are going to have. Then we have housed up the PSLV missions. Then, towards the end of the year, we are going to have the major mission, the Chandrayaan-2. And we have a lot more challenges to the community, to ISRO community. I'm sure that the ISRO community will rise to the occasions and achieve the missions as we desired by the country.
The IRNSS 1I mission takes place 2 weeks after the space agency launched GSAT-6A on board GSLV Mk2. Though the rocket placed GSAT-6A in orbit, ISRO lost communication with the satellite within 2 days. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And after ISRO's launch, Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted, "Congratulations to our scientists on the successful launch of navigation satellite IRNSS 1I by PSLV. This success will bring benefits to our space program, to the common man. Proud of the team ISRO." On to some other news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is leading BJP MPs in holding a day-long fast today to protest opposition-led disruptions in the recently concluded Parliament session. Party Chief Amit Shah is holding a sit-in at Hubli in poll-bound Karnataka. Besides Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah, Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan and Commerce Minister Suresh Prabhu are also observing the fast in Delhi. Union Health Minister JP Nadda is in PM's constituency Varanasi, while Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad is in Patna. The central ministers are also fasting in Chennai, Bengaluru, Madhya Pradesh and Delhi.
कांग्रेस का असली चेहरा जनता के सामने आना चाहिए, तो प्रधानमंत्री समेत सभी सांसद आज एक दिन के उपवास पर इसीलिए हैं ताकि जनता जाने कि कांग्रेस किस तरह से उन महत्वपूर्ण बिलों को, जिसके कारण भ्रष्टाचार को थमना था, जिसके कारण जनता की समस्याओं को हल होना था, जिसके कारण और महत्वपूर्ण ऐसे बिल थे, गरीब किसान मजदूर को उसके अंदर मदद मिलती उन बिलों के आने से, तो कांग्रेस ने नहीं चलने दिया। तो जो लोकतंत्र की हत्या की उसको लेकर हम आज इस धरना उपवास पर हैं।
जिस प्रकार से संसद का बजट सत्र एक महीना नहीं चलने दिया गया, जिसमें प्रमुख भूमिका कांग्रेस पार्टी की थी, हमें पीड़ा है। हम देश की स्थितियों की चर्चा करना चाहते थे, देश के लिए बड़े बड़े कानून पास करना चाहते थे। 3 तलाक का बिल पेंडिंग है राज्यसभा में, ये जो भगोड़ों का बिल है वो पेंडिंग है, कई और महत्वपूर्ण किसानों के लिए मजदूरों का बिल था, और सबसे बड़ी बात बैंकिंग फ्रॉड पर तो हम खुद चर्चा करना चाहते थे। तो कांग्रेस पार्टी उस चर्चा से क्यों भागी है? लेकिन जो स्थानीय इश्यू है वो तो हम देखेंगे, लेकिन कांग्रेस पार्टी की भूमिका पर हमें पीड़ा अवश्य हुई है। सुषमा स्वराज को लोकसभा में नहीं बोलने दिया गया, आपको याद होगा, ये पूरे जो मौसूल में भारतीयों की मौत हुई। तो ये हमें पीड़ा है कि भारत के इतिहास में पहली बार हुआ है कि एक महीना सत्र नहीं चला, तो हम जनता के लिए चाहे बताने के लिए।
कांग्रेस के लोग, विपक्ष के लोगों ने जिस तरह से लोकतंत्र के मंदिर में लोकतंत्र की हत्या करी है, यह शर्मनाक है। पूरा देश नहीं, विश्व देख रहा है कि आखिरकार लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्थाओं के तहत जब हमारी सरकार हर विषय पर चिंतन करने के लिए, बहस करने के लिए तैयार थी, तो आखिरकार ऐसे कौन से कारण थे? कांग्रेस इसकी जवाबदेही है, आज इसकी विपक्ष की जवाबदेही है।
उपवास जो है वो एक जनता को बताने के लिए है कि किस प्रकार लोकतंत्र की अब की बार सत्र में हत्या की गई है।
संसद को डिस्टर्ब करने का काम कांग्रेस और कुछ विपक्षी दल के लोगों ने किया, उसमें मुख्य रोल कांग्रेस का ही था। कांग्रेस ने नकारात्मक भाव से हमेशा संसद को चलाने का काम किया, चाहे सत्ता में रहा हो और सत्ता के बाहर रहा हो।
Meanwhile, the Congress party has termed the BJP's fast as a farce. Party spokesperson Randeep Surjewala said that the fast is a part of the party's rhetoric and diversion tactics. In midday news, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back after the break. It is the concluding day of the 8th Regional 3R Forum in Asia and the Pacific going in Indore in Madhya Pradesh. At the event, Rajya Sabha TV's special program Ground Report Waste to Wealth was screened on Wednesday. RSTV's Ground Report Waste to Wealth highlights how waste in Varanasi was put to good use, and it was much appreciated during its screening at the conference. The conference is looking at how the 3 R's, namely reduce, reuse and recycle, can help make cities and countries clean, smart, livable and resilient. More than 500 delegates from across India and the world are participating in the forum. It is also witnessing participation of around 35 mayors of cities around the world and mayors of over 80 cities across India. At the conclusion of the forum today, Indore 3R declaration will be adopted that will enable India and the Asia-Pacific to assume an even higher level of environmental responsibility in pursuing the tenets of the 3 Rs, both in letter and spirit. The forum was inaugurated by Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan and Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri on 10th of April. And in a bid to reach out to the poor rural households, the Prime Minister has announced a Gram Swaraj Abhiyan on the occasion of Ambedkar Jayanti on 14th of April, which will continue till 5th of May. This Abhiyan is being undertaken for spreading awareness about government welfare schemes and other people-centric initiatives to poor households. The highest importance will be given to saturate these villages with the benefits of 7 welfare programs of the government. As a special initiative during the Gram Swaraj Abhiyan, universal coverage under 7 welfare programs, including Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, in identified villages with large number of underprivileged households across the country has been contemplated. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has given the Finance and Petroleum Ministers the power to award oil and gas exploration blocks to successful bidders under the Hydrocarbon Exploration Licensing Policy or HELP, a move that could fast-track the process. Currently, the awarding of blocks requires the CCEA's approval, and under HELP, exploration blocks are to be awarded twice in a year. The decision is in line with the government's initiatives of ease of doing business. The Cabinet also made changes in Oil Fields Regulation and Development Act of 1948, which would allow Coal India and its arms to extract coal bed methane under its coal-bearing areas without applying for a separate license. Now, the Cabinet also gave its approval for the revision of pay and allowances of Lieutenant Governors of the Union Territories, and this move will bring the pay and allowances of the LGs at par with that of the Secretary of the Government of India. The hiked salary will be implemented from the period starting from 1st of January 2016. And the Union Cabinet also gave its ex-post facto approval to an agreement with the International Solar Alliance for India serving as its host country. The headquarters agreement signed by the External Affairs Ministry and the International Solar Alliance on 26th of March will institutionalize the functional arrangements between the India and the alliance. And a week before Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Britain, the Union Cabinet on Wednesday also accepted a long-pending demand of the return of illegal Indian immigrants living in the UK. An agreement to this regard might be signed during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to London after talks with the British Prime Minister Theresa May. This was a long-pending demand of British Prime Minister May with India, and she had raised the issue when she was in Delhi in November 2016 for a bilateral summit with Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Modi will reach London on 17th of April to participate in the Commonwealth Heads of Governments meet. There, he will also have a summit meeting with British Prime Minister Theresa May, in which agreement for the return of illegal Indians will be signed. The agreement will also include a liberalisation of a visa regime for diplomatic passport holders as well as common Indian citizens. And now all the action from the Commonwealth Games, and India has added yet another gold to its Commonwealth Games tally. The wrestlers have ensured that India's gold medals tally rises to 13 in the Games. Rahul Aware gave a splendid performance in the final of the 57 kg category to beat his Canadian challenger a short while back. He won 15-7. And another gold medal hope for India is Sushil Kumar, who hardly broke a sweat in his semi-final match against Australia's Connor Evans, as he managed to pin his opponent down in the first period itself and was awarded a victory by fall. Now, Sushil is through to the final, where he will now take on South Africa's Johannes Botha. And India won 2 silver medals today. Wrestler Babita Kumari missed the gold and she settled for silver in the final of the 53 kg women's category. This is her 3rd medal at the Commonwealth Games, following a silver in the 51 kg category in Delhi in 2010 and the gold in Glasgow 4 years ago in 55 kg category. She picked up 2 out of her 3 wins in the preliminary stages via pinfall, beating Grisia Hollard of Australia in 36 seconds and Deepika Dilhari of Sri Lanka in 48 seconds. And also, Tejaswini Sawant won a silver medal in the women's 50 meters rifle thrown after shooting a total of 618.9 points at the Commonwealth Games today. Competing in her 3rd Commonwealth Games, Tejaswini added a 6th medal to her bag. And with this win, she further became the first Indian woman to win the medal twice in this event at the Commonwealth Games. The only other Indian to win a medal in this event was Rupa Unnikrishnan, who won a gold way back in Kuala Lumpur in 1998. And our overall medals tally stands at 27 with 13 goals. And that's it from me and my team in this edition of Midday News. Thanks for watching.